to call hyperbaric chamber treatments a breakthrough. But they have seen enough evidence to be stunned at how well some brain damage can be treated without any surgery. Channel 8's Vince Patton has details from Galveston.
This is the best part, believe me.
This is Kenton Morgan's 8th dive in a submarine that will never enter the water.
I can't wait to get in there.
It's the only treatment out there that would actually try to repair the damage that occurred at the time of his birth.
The 13-year-old Burleson boy weighs only 45 pounds due to cerebral palsy. Now he's part of a study using hyperbaric therapy to increase oxygen to his brain, hoping to relax stiff muscles.
What we think is happening is we're waking sleeping part of the brain up.
There's no surgery, no pain.
Blow gently, okay? Not too hard. Blow gently.
The chamber simulates diving deep in the ocean. The increased pressure forces more oxygen into patients' bodies.
It's not going to hurt him. It can only help him.
Kenton will be going down to 16.5 feet.
3 years ago, the University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston started experimenting with hyperbaric therapy on people with strokes, head injuries, and cerebral palsy.
In some of the pediatric patients that we've treated, especially ones that have had head trauma, we've seen really some dramatic changes, which surprised me a great deal.
Dig way down in there.
Charlie Gindrat has shown modest improvement from a head injury, from coma to wheelchair to walking. Now he's relearning the use of his right hand.
Oh.
I think hyperbarics and that pure oxygen in his system just gave him the punch he needed to come back to us.
They're trying hyperbarics on all kinds of brain damage. In one case, a teen drug overdose victim who nearly drowned in his own vomit came in a coma.
They told her that it'd be, unless she wanted to bring back a vegetable, that they should consider cutting off the machines and having me be a donor.
Matt Oots was that teen. His mother refused to give up hope and brought him in for hyperbaric therapy. He awoke from his coma inside the chamber.
It's remarkable. I mean, they said I wouldn't be able to walk again, and now, I mean, I walk, drive, car. I mean, I can do anything I really want.
Such groundbreaking results excite the doctors here, but they urge caution.
Again, there's a lot of work that has been done, but a lot more needs to be done so we can understand why we're getting these beneficial effects.
Study patients must agree to stay in Galveston for 1 or 2 months. Kenton Morgan has 5 weeks to go. The treatment has not yet loosened his tight muscles, but has improved his appetite.
I believe that it works. If you just try. Even if it doesn't work, you'll be glad that you did try.
Vince Patton, Channel 8 News, Galveston.
Here's some really interesting information. Of the 18 head injury patients in comas, the Galveston researchers report that 14 of them woke up, recovered, and walked out after several treatments. 2 people showed moderate improvement, and 2 did not change at all. Now, if you would like more information on how to apply to be a part of these studies, you can go to our website at WFAA.com. Other news to report tonight. A tornado was sighted in the Texas Panhandle tonight. There have been no reports of damage.
Now the question is, can we expect any severe weather in North Texas overnight or tomorrow morning? Troy has the latest from the Weather Center. Troy?
That's quite possible, and here's a quick look at what I'll be telling you later on in the newscast. We have had a few showers from Athens over to Sulphur Springs up past Bonham into Oklahoma. Those are just moving off to the northeast. Dallas-Fort will miss most of those. Tornado watch has been in effect coming into part of the Channel 8 viewing area over around Eastland. That is still in effect until 11 o'clock. The storms have formed in the northern sector. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for Childress. Now, I expect this line of storms to begin to lengthen and form and move east down through the hill country and start to really pick up speed. But when does that get them to us? You got several hours. It'll be early tomorrow morning, but there is some possibility of severe weather, and more about the timing on that a little later in the news. I'll be back.
All right. Thank you, Troy. For only the second time since the Civil War, the state of Texas has executed a woman. Notorious killer Betty Lou Beets was put to death tonight just after 6. Channel 8's Alan Berg reports from Huntsville.
As he left the death house, Rodney Barker pumped his fist in the air, underscoring the raw emotion inspired by Betty Lou Beets.
And I was very happy at that time because I had a few minutes after the execution to really see what I felt inside.
Still not guilty.
Beets was dubbed the Black Widow after one husband and one ex-husband were found buried in her yard. Not once in the 14.5 years that followed did Betty Lou Beets ever admit to the killings. On this night, as she was led to her execution, she avoided eye contact with the victim's family, and there was no final statement. She died silent. Death came at 6:18.
Mrs. Beets did not say one word to us. She turned and looked at us 2 times tonight in that room, and then she turned and looked at her preacher and talked to him.
So I can only pray and hope right now that she can hear me, and I forgive her. I ask God to forgive her.
Appeals attorney Joe Margulies tried to save her life by arguing that a history of domestic abuse merited clemency.
This is where it hit her in the eye.
The courts and the governor were unmoved.
And what happens is not ennobling, and it is nothing about which we should be proud. It is an act for which we should be deeply ashamed.
Beets spent the morning visiting with a daughter and granddaughter, but asked that none of her family watch the execution. She also declined a final meal. 2 weeks ago, Beets said she felt fortunate to know the exact day she was scheduled to die.
So many people don't know that, and they're not ready, and they don't have their priorities in order, but I do.
Before she reached this point, her actions tore the hearts of 2 families. Allenberg, Channel 8 News, Huntsville.
Meanwhile, death penalty opponents continue their crusade. The Catholic bishops of Texas this week asked Governor Bush to follow Illinois' lead and suspend executions. Bush has refused.
A father in Grand Prairie says the school board is refusing to stop punishing male students differently than female students. Last spring, cheerleader Amber Page was kicked off the squad after she was caught smoking. She complained that male athletes who smoke get much lighter punishment, usually a short suspension. Eventually, the school board named a committee to look into ways of adjusting the punishment policy. Tonight, the board met and declined to make any changes. Instead, the superintendent and high school principals will decide what the rules should be.
As he told me that a baseball player and a football player is not a role model. A cheerleader is a role model.
So they have to be held to a higher standard?
That's exactly what he said, and that was their position. I guess he just thought, or they just thought they could sweep me under the rug and I would go away. It's been 9 months and 24 days, and I'm not finished.
The girls' parents have filed a lawsuit challenging the school's district's rules on punishment.
Letters will go out tomorrow to parents of Pascal High School students informing them that 2 students who are sisters are hospitalized with tuberculosis. The infectious disease that affects the lungs is not highly contagious in a school setting, but health officials aren't taking any chances, and they're recommending that 250 students undergo TB skin testing next week.
School teachers and students will represent secondary and tertiary circles, meaning their risk is much, much less. It takes 8 hours a day, several weeks, months of exposure, really for it to be significant.
Tarrant County health officials will go to Pascal High School to test the students. Parental permission is required.
Tonight on Nightline, the growing debate over who should take Ritalin. It's the most common treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and now more preschool-age children are being prescribed with that drug. The latest tonight on Nightline that immediately follows the News 8 update.
It looks like another change is in store for prices at the pump.
This change, though, could mean a break for your wallet. That story is coming up.
Also ahead, a phone company executive answers a call to buy a piece of vintage Texas history. His multi-million-dollar purchase a little later.
I'm Channel 8's film critic Gary Kogel, and her name is Madonna. She's a pop star and an actress. I did talk to her, and boy, do I have stories to tell. That's later on the update.
He was on the verge of a world championship. Instead, the path he chose led to prison. I'm News 8's Scott Sams. Tomorrow on News 8 at 10, what led to this boxer's downfall and amazing comeback?
Tony Ayala is back! El Torito is back!
Plus, it's the toys you'll be buying your kids in the future.
It allows children of all ages to use a computer without using the keyboard and the mouse.
Go inside a one-of-a-kind convention where generations meet in the world of high-tech toys. That's tomorrow at 10, only on News 8.
Arab allies have agreed to crank up oil production, which could mean lower prices at the gas pump for U.S. consumers. Saudi Arabia today took the first step toward reducing prices from $30 a barrel. This comes after weeks of protests from truckers who cannot afford to fill up their rigs and homeowners who can't afford to heat their houses. But don't look for lower prices until this summer.
Political news tonight. Arizona Senator John McCain says Governor George Bush lacks fiscal responsibility. McCain campaigned in California today, where Bush has strong Republican support. McCain says Bush increased spending in Texas by 35% in the past few years. McCain, by the way, picked up an endorsement from California's most prominent Republican woman, San Diego Mayor Susan Golding. Governor Bush took a break from campaigning today. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich says Governor Bush is having trouble with McCain because he's not connecting nationwide like he's done in Texas.
Reagan made it look so easy that we tend to forget that communicating effectively on national television is an art. It's something you have to practice, you have to work at.
Gingrich made his comments during a visit today to San Antonio. He believes Bush will win the Republican nomination. The former House Speaker is not endorsing either candidate as of now.
A food fight in the nation's capital as best-selling authors and experts squared off on the best way to lose weight. And Dr. Robert Atkins took some heat for his popular diet plan.
Now, this diet's been out there for 30 years, or close to 30 years.
And I haven't been able to fund a study. I've asked
excuse me, 10 million books in print, and you can't fund the study?
The Atkins diet calls for eating meat, cheese, and other high-protein and high-fat foods. The only thing the experts agreed will help in weight loss is exercise, avoiding sugar, and eating less.
In a few weeks, singer Madonna will appear on the big screen in a new movie.
But tonight, she's talking family values with our very own Gary Cogill. Their conversation after weather.
But first, we're going to head out to a little West Texas town that's drawing big city attention. The story behind the sale of Lajitas is next.
Live captioning of News 8 is sponsored by Baylor Healthcare System. Could you have diabetes and not know it? For a free assessment or screening, call 1-800-4BAYLOR.
Here are tonight's winning Texas lottery numbers.
Imagine owning a whole town. Well, today, those with the ambition and the bank accounts to match set their sights on Lajitas, Texas.
The resort town was put on the auction block. Now, Lajitas is in the Big Bend area of Texas, nestled between a national park and a state park in Brewster County. Here's Channel 8's Don Wall with the story.
Sunrise at Lajitas in the Big Bend. Population about 100. The town wakes up on the day it will be sold. Elvia Galindo makes her famous turnovers, and people arrive from all over. They even fly in for the auction.
Jane Fonda, I hear, is one of them, huh?
Oh, really?
Buying it in Redford?
Really?
Yes.
Some big wigs.
Yeah.
For sale is the Lajitas Resort, including the Badlands Hotel, all the buildings on Main Street, almost 22,000 acres of gorgeous mountainous terrain, and a pretty 9-hole golf course.
We call this the Palm Springs of West Texas down here.
Lajitas is a friendly town and great for outdoor activities, like rafting the Rio Grande, off-road bicycling, and horseback riding. The Border Patrol also overlooks the informal river crossing for tourists.
Who's the mayor of this town?
The mayor is a beer-drinking goat.
Clay Henry III drinks long necks all day and then sleeps it off at night. Part of the charm of this place is also its main problem. This is extremely remote. The nearest commercial airport is Chihuahua, Mexico. It's 4 hours drive to El Paso, 8 hours to Dallas. It's a long way from anywhere. Walter Mischer, who built Lajitas in 1978, envisioned an exclusive resort that was never fully realized. And now it's time to sell.
You just kind of reach a milepost that you need to sell some stuff. I'm getting old.
And there are buyers.
I'm just here to make sure somebody don't steal it.
What do you mean?
Well, basically, I'm out of something to do. We sold our company, so I'm looking for something to do, maybe.
I think Lajitas is unique. It's part of Texas, which I love. The people are wonderful. It's somebody's idea of an ideal community, and I think I can go with that.
$1,000 anywhere.
Bidding starts slow, but picks up. It comes down to a hotel owner from San Francisco and Steve Smith, co-founder of Excel Telecommunications of Dallas.
Write it down, $2 million.
With fees, Steve Smith will pay $4.2 million. What do you want to do with Lajitas?
I have no idea.
Why'd you buy it?
I really don't know.
Smith says he wants to expand the golf course, but things here won't change much. Clay Henry will drink to that. Don Wall, Channel 8 News, Lajitas.
I don't know what to say after that. Is that a good deal? $4.2 million for...
I wouldn't have bid that much.
No.
But I don't have that much.
Well, good point.
So it's a moot question.
It is.
So that's why you
got
wouldn't
some
bid
weather.
that
So we
much.
turn the page here.
Let's do. Let's
Please.
turn
I
the
tell you
page.
what, the scenario that I've been describing is starting to shape up out west of us, meaning we're probably going to get some thunderstorms. Could be some big ones. It'll be in the early morning, and we'll talk about the timetable on that when we move over to the Weather Center. Let's see what it's doing outside right now. Well, not much at present. It's partly cloudy out there, really quite a pleasant evening, a little bit humid, a little bit windy. You can see Tower Cam is shaking there because of the wind, and it's going to be windy all night. A wind advisory in place already through tomorrow. Partly cloudy at 10 and 71 degrees presently. The humidity right now is 58%. The barometer is falling wind is south at 20 miles an hour. Well, let me show you the overnight forecast. Now, again, this is what the computer model runs say, and I'll comment on this as it goes along. The first batch of storms moves off toward the northeast. You see a big area of thunderstorms in Kansas and Oklahoma at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, I think this is a little underdone, as I said earlier in the evening. I think by that time, this line's going to be stretching well down into the hill country as it comes by us in the morning. And that'll probably be between 5 and 8 o'clock from west to east, depending on where you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Then, during the day tomorrow, we're back on the same page as the storms are shown all the way down to Houston by noon. And I think that's right, 69 at noon. Then tomorrow afternoon, the winds go around to the west-northwest. We clear out. We don't cool off much yet, 77. We'll cool off a little bit tomorrow night. All right, having said that, let's see where we are right now. Here's what the Doppler net radar shows. Well, this line of thunderstorms, you see this kind of a bow here? This indicates it's going to be very strong straight-line winds in the counties just north of the Red River in Oklahoma. But I also think that line has started to strengthen and lengthen. Now, it's going to lengthen down to the hill country by midnight. I think that'll really start to happen. But that'll be 150 miles west of Fort Worth. So that means 5 to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for our area. Here's the other perspective on this. The NextRad radar animation during the evening, and these storms formed up. First batch moved past us harmlessly enough. The second batch, this is the one that we are worried about here, or not worried about, but concerned about. And these storms are going to lengthen down into this tornado watch, which expires at 11. But since the timing is such that it's going to be early morning, I think this will be redirected, and that watch, if we get it, will be in the early morning hours. Okay, here's what things look like now with the satellite pictures today. And again, during the latter part of this, we're going to begin to see the activity really forming up there in the western part of the Panhandle and then moving east. There were a couple of reports of tornadoes in the Oklahoma Panhandle, some large hail in the eastern Panhandle of Texas. Temperatures look like this at 10 o'clock. Still quite warm where we are. Well, today's high temperature was 77 after morning low 57. Air quality okay today. Pollen count, mostly fungus today. A little bit of several other things, but nothing to write home about on this day for pollen. Now then, the satellite animation for today looks like this. Here comes the next low-pressure system that's driving these storms, and another wave coming around the bottom of that low tonight. That's the one that started these big storms headed our way, and the temperatures around the U.S. look like this tonight. It's not really that cold anywhere. Now, a broader look at the animation for the next 36 to 48 hours shows us thunderstorms coming through here in the morning, moving away by tomorrow afternoon. So here's your 5-day outlook. Storms in the morning. It's going to be about 63 degrees, windy overnight. AM storms, that is to say, between 5 and 8 tomorrow morning, then moving east. 77 tomorrow, 47 tomorrow night. The weekend, sunny to partly sunny, pleasant, 68 to 73. Monday, partly sunny, 75. And Tuesday, another chance for some thunderstorms. So you want to get up and see what Christine has to say in the morning, because by that time you may be hearing some thunder and feeling some lightning and rain.
Okay. Thank you very much, Troy. Let's talk about movies. Pop singer and part-time actress Madonna stars in a new movie opening next week, playing a single mother raising her son in a non-traditional home.
Channel 8's film critic Gary Cogill talked with the star of The Next Best Thing and joins us now with his conversation. So, Gary, was your conversation with Madonna all that you thought it would be?
You know, it's really quite different. It was really the opposite of what you usually see in music videos and in concert. You know, she does play a single parent in her movie. She is a single parent in real life. I don't think that's much of a stretch.
Is that a lion?
It's a kitty cat.
Actually, I think it's a tiger on Madonna's shirt, but it doesn't really matter. In her new movie, The Next Best Thing, Madonna plays a single mother raising her son with an openly gay father, played by Rupert Everett. Two best friends who share one night of drunken passion, resulting in pregnancy.
I have something to tell you.
Is it bigger than the big books?
Not yet.
What are we trying to say with this film?
It poses an important question, and that is, what is family, or what makes a family? Is family really just based on blood relations, or does it have to do with who's really there for you, who's there with love, and who's taking responsibility.
Madonna showed up 2 hours late for this scheduled interview. On stage and in her music videos, she's known for being outspoken and often outrageous. I found her to be a bit nervous and surprisingly shy. Your whole culture's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot in the last 10 years. In a good way, do you think?
I have to think so. I mean, obviously, people aren't perfect, and lots of people make mistakes. People are much more aware about, you know, creating healthy environments to raise children in.
Why don't you sleep in Mommy's room?
She snores. She snores like a great big old helicopter taking off.
Also, during this interview, you won't see the person in the corner giving me the rap sign after only 3 minutes, which I politely ignored so I could ask another question. I guess there's a point where you reach acting puberty, and you kind of get over that.
Yeah.
Or get over yourself.
You feel, you know, especially if you get really famous, and then you kind of get self-conscious because people have expectations of you, and in a way that paralyzes your creativity.
3 minutes with Madonna, all to talk about a heavy-handed message movie. I never even got to my Dennis Rodman question. But even at 3 minutes, this actress is much more interesting than her new film.
Yeah. I don't get paid that much to act, I can assure you. So I'm not doing it for money.
Wow, that's the conversation. You know, every Thursday night we talk movies at Starbucks. These people are really smart. How long did I get with Her Highness?
3 minutes with Madonna.
Wow, that's a big interview. Back to you.
Okay, we'll check that movie out anyway. Thank you very much, Gary. Coming up, it was the rematch at Reunion tonight between the Mavericks and the Utah Jazz, but this time Dennis Rodman's in the Dallas corner.
And the Texas Rangers gather for their first full squad workout of spring training in Port Charlotte, Florida. Stay with us. Dale is next with sports.
And Dale is back from Fort
Yes,
Worth, where
yes.
I'm sure you wowed them.
Well, you know, it had its moments. I was over at the Colonial Country Club speaking to some insurance guys over there, and they don't let me play golf over there anymore, so I got to go over there every chance I get. It is a rematch night at Reunion Arena. Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz in Dallas. Mavericks coach Don Nelson got thrown out the last time. He's got Dennis Rodman on his side now, so let's get it on. There is this little thing called basketball, but who really wants to see this? Mavericks 11 down in the third, and Eric Strickland brings them all the way back. It's a close game in the fourth. Mavericks down only 5. And then Dennis Rodman quits on his basketball team again. It's time for Rodman to make it all about me. It's a chintzy flop job by Karl Malone, but he gets the technical, and Rodman gets tossed out of the game. Then, in the process of giving his jersey away, 2 grown men get into a fight trying to get the jersey, and they get tossed out. Mavericks basketball, fun for the entire family. Utah wins by 7 tonight.
And you have to accept that as part of what he brings. And I think that's one of what you guys call distractions, or, you know, things that happened by having Dennis on our team. We have to roll with those punches and accept that there's going to be things like this and deal with them.
We won the ball game, guys. You know, what kind of story you guys want? We won the game. That's it. He wasn't around to see it finish, so the end of story. Better than that, end of interviews, because I'm tired of asking those questions. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, he is right there. Rangers have everybody in camp, but catcher Pudge Rodriguez now, and he's supposed to be there tomorrow. This is going to wear you out just watching this. Baseball players work so incredibly hard. Here's George Reba.
It was the first full workout of the new decade as the Rangers spring training shifted gears. No longer is the focus just on pitching.
When everybody gets here, it starts to get the attitude changes a bit. They start riding each other a little bit better, and it makes for a little bit sharper day.
All kinds of them. First base.
I didn't get a chance to put them all out.
For Rafael Palmeiro, his first day included a tour of the latest designs and gloves. But before he left, he had to spell his name.
Actually, I run across that every day. And my name is not easy to spell, so people always put the I in front of the E, so it's all right.
Ready to go to work?
Yeah.
Palmeiro's first practice was anything but organized. After all, it was his first since returning to Texas 1 year ago, when he was hampered by a knee injury.
Yeah, I was lost out there today. I didn't know where I was supposed to be. Didn't know where my hitting group was. Didn't know when I was supposed to take ground balls. I just felt so out of place.
But Palmero is never out of sync on a baseball field, especially with Texas. Last year was the best year of his career, but he has no intention of trying to match it.
The only thing that I'm supposed to live up to is just being the best that I can be and helping this team win and do whatever that I can to get us over the top.
Thank you. Palmero says he actually missed hanging out with the guys on those bus trips for exhibition games last season. He says it's good for team unity. Well, he should get plenty of rides this spring. George Reba, Channel 8 Sports in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, goodness, how do they keep up the pace? 2 rounds at the World Match Play Tournament, and Tiger Woods is still going. ABC is really hoping he makes it to the weekend. 2nd seed David Duval wins again, but 3rd seed Colin Montgomery, 5th seed Ernie Els lost their matches, and so did Justin Leonard. Golden Gloves is in Fort Worth this week, and here we go. It's a couple of 50-pounders we got here. J.D. Flores on your left is the winner. Oh, the style, the technique. Here's another one. Brandon Gwynn in the red and white trunks. He's the one, I don't know, they look like they're both hitting on one another. Anyway, Brandon Gwynn is your winner. You know, about 50, I wasn't that small when I was born. I love that. They continue through the weekend over in Fort Worth at Golden Gloves.
We love that.
I do. That's good. The little guys are the best. Absolutely the best.
It is fun.
He knocked his block off. All right, Dale, thank you very much. Well, are you hungry? Next on the update, serving up a world's record.
It takes a Hollywood production to try and make it into the record books. We'll tell you how these chefs did it next. Finally tonight, something that could cure any late-night hunger pains.
Take a look at the first video of the world's longest California roll. More than 50 chefs and their students work for the most part of the day along Hollywood Avenue, making the giant sushi roll. The ingredients include seaweed, rice, crab, avocado, and don't forget cucumber.
Yummy. The finished product was 100 feet long and will go down in the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest sushi roll created to date. And there, you saw it. Tell all your friends. Well, if the information superhighway is more like one big roadblock to you, tune in tomorrow morning for News 8 Daybreak. An AOL executive will talk about the hottest sites on the web. And ever wonder what all those web heads are doing when they're online for hours? Well, we'll find out Friday morning on Daybreak from 5 to 7.
And Christine Kahanik will have your first look at the weather as well.
Right.
And probably she'll have it before then if need be.
Absolutely.
That she'll
That's
be
right. Possible severe weather.
Right. That's the update tonight. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.